Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Stay Puft 1983, and I'm here to enter Tony Sanders 100 subscriber contest. So, his rules are simple. You got to be 18 years old or older and living in the US. You got to be subscribed to him and White Whale Comics, which I am subscribed to White Whale. And you got to show off two of your favorite characters, whether they're heroes or villains, and show off two books with your favorite stories and what you love about them. So, as you can see right here in this video, I have a key issue right here in front of you. Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. Shout out to Strictly Comics. I won this off his raffle that he did, and I gotta say, I'm pretty happy that I have this book. You know, it's not in the best condition, about 4.0 or 5.0, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm just happy to have this key issue, and it features two of my favorite characters, Spider-Man and the first appearance of the Punisher. The less said about Jackal, the better. But, yeah, these are two of my favorite characters, especially in the Marvel Universe. And, one thing I love about Frank Castle is that he's been wronged by the justice system for his family getting murdered by the mob. And he said, you know, fuck it. You know, I'm going to take this matter in my own hands. The justice system ain't doing nothing. They letting criminals off the hook. I'm going to go out there and take these criminals out. They don't need to be on the streets. And so was the Punisher was born. And his first assignment was to kill Spider-Man. He was hired by the Jackal to kill the Spider-Man. And after a couple of instances of battling Spider-Man, he realized that Spider-Man wasn't the true enemy. And as in wrestling terms, he turned face. But he was one of the first big anti-heroes, if I'm not mistaken, to really come out of the Bronze Age of Marvel Comics. And ever since then, he become a staple of anti-hero popularity. You know, and I enjoy his stories. And one of his stories that I enjoy the most is The Slavers by Garth Ennis, part of the Punisher Max run. If you haven't read this story, you're missing out. Garth Ennis is to me the best Punisher writer of all the writers who've written the Punisher. He got a grasp of the character, and he understood what he was doing. He made Punisher a silent, stone-cold killer, yet still had this remorseful side, you know, about the people who he was helping with. And the Slavers is definitely one of those stories that is very emotional, it's very serious, dealing with women being sold as sex slaves. And it was definitely a powerful story to read. You know, I definitely recommend getting Garth Ennis's. Either you get the Ultimate Collections or the omnibuses that they just released, and read The Slavers if you not have read it. You know, and I have the entire single issue run of that. Here's issue 26. Issue 27. Issue 28. Issue number 29. And issue 30, the final part. One thing I gotta say is Tim Bradstreet's covers are fucking amazing. He's the definitive Punisher cover artist. You know, all his covers has been fantastic, from the Marvel Knights run all the way to the last issue of this Punisher run, issue 60. You know, when I think of a Punisher cover, I think of Tim Bradstreet, because he always had them great, real gripping covers that caught your attention. Take these down. For Spider-Man stories, I just have 3 books that I want to show. One, Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man 78. His battle with Dr. Octopus. And yeah, this was like a 6-issue arc from 75 to 80. And it definitely, Doc Ock definitely be crossing the line. And this story arc really cemented Peter Parker's will to take down the villain that has been close to him in the past. I mean, he was his mentor. And if you played the Spider-Man game, then you know what that story meant between these two. So I definitely enjoyed this arc. I enjoyed Spectacular Spider-Man 200. That was one of my favorite issues to read. The battle between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, the Harry Osborn version. This issue was the death of Harry Osborn. And it was just a gripping read, you know, dealing with Harry and his crazed mental state that he was in. You know, he wanted to change, but at the same time, his hatred for Spider-Man was just so strong. You know, you had Harry's family involved. And it was just a very gripping story. One of my faves. And then lastly, I have this Amazing Spider-Man 375. A couple of foil covers, you know, foil cover Friday. This was my favorite story to read between Spider-Man and Venom. I mean, I just love the battle they had in this issue. They just threw down, you know. And this was like the last confrontation in terms of them going at each other like this. They fought a few times later on, but this is like their best confrontation, especially in the 90s. Mark Bagley's artwork was just phenomenal. And this is, I think, what pretty much led to Venom solo series. After this, he did Lethal Protector. If not, you know, it probably was before, but I know Venom started doing more solo series after this. But this was a great confrontation between the two, and I always enjoyed it. And that's all I have to show. You know, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I kept it nice, short, and simple. And yeah, these are two of my favorite characters. Shout out to Tony Sanders for this amazing 100 subscriber contest. If you're not subbed to him, go sub him up. Go sub up White Whale Comics. And just enjoy the comic books that you read. Enjoy the comic books that you want to buy, and the characters that you want to read up and collect. Because that's the hobby this is, man. And people wanted to get me to do YouTube videos, and I'm doing it right now. And I have to say, it's a challenge, but it's also fun. You get to share off what you love. So, on that note, it's Stay Puft 1983 signing out. Peace.